Good evening and thank you for joining us. Politicians are reaching across the aisle in their support of the transitional housing complex planned on Junot Avenue. New Democrat MPP Lise Vaugeois attended the Conservative government's funding announcement this week and praised their support of that project. Lee Noonan has more.
Setting aside partisan rhetoric, Thunder Bay Superior North MPP Lise Vaugeois commended her political rivals for committing $8.7 million in operational funding to the Junot Avenue transitional housing complex.
I want to congratulate the ministry and Kevin Holland on being able to, on supporting this project. We need it.
The NDP's Vaugeois and Conservative MPP Kevin Holland are in agreement on at least one thing. The transitional housing project is needed to help out Indigenous youth facing homelessness in Thunder Bay.
This project will make a big difference as our local partners work to tackle homelessness and help more people find a safe place to live. We know that housing is core to addressing that problem.
People have been advocating for many, many years for a shelter, transitional shelter for youth, for homeless youth, in particular Indigenous youth. So it's important.
Vaugeois wasn't alone in reaching across the aisle. The beleaguered housing minister, Steve Clark, also acknowledged her in his comments about anti-homelessness projects.
As a government, we need to continue to build upon them, something that I know both Lise and Kevin will make sure we do as a government.
The Junot Avenue Transitional Home will provide supportive housing for Indigenous young adults who are living in homelessness or at risk. If construction goes to plan, the facility could open its doors in the spring of 2025. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
A local nonprofit has been granted $60,000 through the Ontario Trillium Foundation to produce a mobile app. It will allow local social workers to register for their services remotely. MPP for Thunder Bay-Atikokan Kevin Holland was on site to announce the grant.
Bringing the digital age into a basic service for our community is fantastic, and it's making things a lot easier for.
Community Clothing Assistance on May Street has provided aid to the residents of Thunder Bay for over 15 years, offering free clothing to individuals and organizations in need. Now their services are officially available online after hiring 2 local programmers to develop a mobile application with funding from the Trillium Foundation.
It takes seconds, so someone refer a person right on the other corner, and then the person walks in and it's served.
As social workers, they can create it anytime. They don't have to be in the office or anything. Just anywhere they can create referral and send the client to the store to get their free clothing.
Number one thing for sure, we're always making sure that all the data that our social workers give to us in confidence is secure. We always try to look for new ways and keep track of what ways we can improve the security of the app and the site and everything itself.
There's got 700 social workers that they work with, 150 different organizations, where it's really streamlining the ability to refer their clients to the store for that assistance that they need.
The app is available on Google Play and the App Store. The LCBO in Sioux Lookout adjusted its operating hours over the past year, which led to a noticeable drop in calls for service. The downtown core location in Sioux Lookout has shut its doors Sundays and Mondays, resulting in 140% fewer arrests.
This is reducing crime, and it's having an impact on the people that are victimized by having alcohol readily available to them, are getting help and services. So we wanted to address that with our population, our community as well.
Since the closure of the LCBO on Sundays and Mondays, the OPP responded to an average of 61% fewer calls on those days compared to the rest of the week. As for Liquor License Control Act calls for service, those reduced by nearly 200%, with arrests down by 210%. Constable de Gagne says the benefits extend beyond fewer calls for service, also allowing those struggling with alcohol a period to seek supports.
From what we've seen, our crime is down, and our people are getting connected to services. So people with alcohol addictions issues are having that reprieve to be able to reach out to services when they're offered on business hours, which is great on those Mondays.
Police say not having to be called to the downtown core as frequently has allowed more officers to be able to respond to other emergencies in the region. As we're now in the final weekend before many students begin classes at college and university campuses across the north, there was one school with a labor issue looming. Almost 200 members of the support staff at Nipissing University in North Bay were poised for a strike, but that was avoided just days before classes begin. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
The Ontario Public Service Employees Union and Nipissing University reached a tentative deal through conciliated talks. School support staff had been out and about at various campus locations, calling on the school to increase workers' wages and bargain in good faith.
Just showing all the places where we work, and we're just here showing support for our bargaining team right now, and we're looking for a fair contract, and it's respect for the Nipissing support staff.
This contract affects 180 full-time, casual, and contract employees who work in admission, finance, academic advising, residence life, athletics, student counseling, the library, and more. Calling these workers the lifeblood of the post-secondary school, the union members want university leadership to agree to a deal that acknowledges the importance of these roles.
Yeah, so we do all the day-to-day stuff, everything from registering for the courses to IT support to maintaining and keeping the facilities clean.
The union says for years its employee wages have failed to keep up with the soaring cost of living, and union leaders say staff have gone above and beyond to help the university navigate its financial crisis. The union says the agreement will be voted on September 12th to see if the members ratify the deal. This should allow classes to begin next week.
We'll now turn attention to the wildfires ravaging the western part of Canada, with some good news out of the Northwest Territories. Residents of Yellowknife should be able to go home on Wednesday, 3 weeks after out-of-control wildfires threaten their community. Yellowknife officials say most essential workers will begin heading home on Monday. The general public will be able to do the same on Wednesday, contingent on weather conditions. People are still being asked to remain where they are until the evacuation order is officially lifted. Making our way south now, where two major wildfires in Okanagan are now considered under control, but crews are still on the defensive and residents are becoming frustrated.
It's been 7 weeks since we were first put on alert and people have been out of that area, so 3 times as long as the others.
Before evacuation orders can be fully lifted there, officials say people whose homes were destroyed will be given a chance to see the damage first. There's no timeline at this point for when the more than 400 evacuees can return home. Wildfires have destroyed almost 200 homes around Lake Okanagan in the BC interior. More than 40,000 people across British Columbia are currently under evacuation orders. Back here at home, the city of Thunder Bay hosted a flag-raising ceremony yesterday to recognize the contributions of the Merchant Navy during the Second World War. Mayor Ken Boshkov welcomed members of the Canadian Merchant Navy Veterans Association to City Hall for the event to remember those who served for Canada. During the war, Merchant Navy ships were responsible for transporting personnel, equipment, and fuel to allies across the world. Following a speech, the mayor brought everyone back outside where they raised the flag. Russell Christiansen's late father served in the Merchant Navy and has high hopes for what this event means for the community.
This means a lot, as my father was a merchant seaman, and he was kind of behind all this. He was arguing with the government to give them recognition, so it means a lot. I'm proud of my father, and he's passed away now, and this is a legacy for him and all the merchant seamen.
I take this all quite emotionally, and to me it's all community building, and remembering is part of keeping the traditions strong.
While there are no longer any living members of the Merchant Navy in Thunder Bay, the flag flies to recognize the sacrifices they made. And finally, with fall quickly approaching, the city will start closing its splash pads and outdoor pools at the end of this long weekend. Luckily, today's weather was perfect for those who wanted to get out and enjoy those summer staples for the last time. Jessica Clement reports.
Another summer is almost in the books, as both outdoor pools are getting ready to close at the end of this weekend. The pools have been packed all season, and Saturday was no different. Art Widnall Pool saw families and friends who all wanted to enjoy the last bit of summer.
It's super hot, and it's also a nice day to go to the pool.
It was really hot out. The pool is nice and cold, and when it's hot, it's nice and cold.
It's a beautiful day, and I thought I would come here for the last week before school starts. Just get that last day of summer vibes and all that.
Most kids we spoke to said they visited the pool almost every week, and we asked them what they enjoyed most about being at the pool this summer.
Going on the diving board and the water slide. Swimming and having fun.
Getting cooled down and having fun.
Swimming. That's like all of the activities here.
If you missed out over the season, you'll still have one last chance to take a dip. The final day for both pools will be on Sunday, and they'll be open from 1 to 5 p.m.
That's sad.
About that. We didn't know about that.
It's very sad, but also lots of fun because like you get to see like your friends at school like every day except the weekends. Get to learn stuff there. But like at least we came here before it was closed.
It feels like summer went by like in a heartbeat.
The splash pads around the city will also be closing soon, with the ones at Franklin Street Park and North End Park closing on Monday at 8 p.m. The splash pads at County Park, Northwood Playfield, and Prince Arthur's Landing will remain open until September 17th. Jessica Clement, TVT News.
And we're now joined